Hey there, guys. Christian Alvey here, and today I'm with my good friend, Mr. Brandon Brown. Brandon, brother, what's been going on with you lately? I have you on this call for a reason. I'm really excited about your new system. Why don't you give us a little backdrop on it so everybody that's watching this can just get a little intel, and then we'll kind of just dive a little deeper into it as we go.
Yeah, so thanks for having me, man. I just been on the grind. I jumped into a home-based business, and I don't know if you want me to talk about that or and how that ties into the system or whatever. But basically, I jumped into like a high-ticket business, and um, I couldn't find anybody who was utilizing the strategies that I do and that I teach for my team to basically be able to duplicate their efforts without having to spend any money on traffic. I know a lot of people when they get into businesses, they like spend all this money on advertising and stuff like that. And like when I was coming up, I was broke. Like I didn't have no money for ads. Like I didn't have no money for like nothing really. And so basically I was forced to always kind of use free advertising. And then I kind of came up with a system that like thousands of people started using to like basically make money online and bring people into the business and sell products and services. And so I was already kind of like teaching the system that I have been using from like being affiliates and other companies and then network marketing and stuff like that. So then, yeah, when I jumped into this business, there was a lot of other systems out there, but nobody was really doing what I was doing. And so I was like, man, like I need to like build a system to essentially help people who want to get in entrepreneurship and who don't want to spend money on ads to be able to like use this system to, be successful.
Yeah. So just a little backdrop. Brandon and I have known each other for what, like 10 years, right? At least something like that.
That's
Like
right.
we met online or at a conference, one of those two things. We even went to conferences together because we were originally, well, I'm still in California, but Brandon at the time was in California. He's in Canada now. But we would go to conferences together and meet up and all those kinds of things. So we kind of hit it off from the get go, and we've been mentored by some of the same people and taken some of the same courses and stuff. And what I really like about Brendan, even from the early stages, was just his hunger for the game. Because we'd always be talking in Messenger and private messaging and stuff, and just about marketing strategies, like what do you think about this, all these ideas and stuff. And he's always been hungry from day one to make stuff happen in his business and change his life around. I mean, Brandon, you got how many kids now? Two?
Yeah, man. Actually, I don't even know if I should even say this right now, but yeah,
Uh-oh.
I know. I was gonna say no because last night I just found out that I'm having my third one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations, man.
man. So I actually got three kids now.
That's crazy. But so, I mean, just I think I even saw a hunger for your game get even hungrier once you found out you were pregnant with the first kid,
Oh yeah,
right? Is that a definite yes?
that's a definite yes.
Yeah. And little what I one of the things, I mean, we're going to show you his new system in a bit, but this is not your first system, right? What was your first system? Why don't you give everybody a little history what your first system was, and basically what it was about, and then like lead on to say like how this one's different,
Right.
as far as like
Yeah. So my first system was called Attraction Marketing Pro, and we still have it. And we've had shoot thousands of people selling the products. And we've helped thousands of, and just within a short period of time, the last 24 months, I think we paid out over like $2 million.
Wow.
Yeah, we've helped thousands of people like make money from home. And yeah, we've just helped a lot of people with that system. And so that was kind of our first system that we had where basically I always try to find like unique ways to like, because there's like all these systems out there and all this kind of stuff. So what made this system stick out, one is the training. Like people love the training in there. And so that kind of got the word out really, really quickly because like nobody else was really like teaching the stuff that like I was teaching. And it wasn't like I like a lot of the stuff I did originate, but it was like stuff that I learned from, like our mentors and stuff like that. But it was just like with my perspective on it and like the things that I was doing and stuff like that. So people really loved that system because for the first time, they were like, this guy's actually showing us a legit way to make money online without paying for ads, right? And so I had taken like the direct response principles that we learned and basically just kind of show people how to do that. So people really like that system. And then also too, the other unique thing was I was giving away 100% commission, right? So which means that like I was basically giving away most of the money and I was just taking like a small cut off of each sale that was being made. And with most of these other like companies out there that kind of they don't do this, but they kind of do something, they have like platforms and stuff. They have like investors and they've got like all these partners, like they can't afford to do that, right? Whereas me, I solely own the company, the software, like everything's done in-house. Like I don't really have like a lot of overhead. And so that was my advantage in the marketplace was one, good training, two, good affiliate commissions. And yeah, so that was kind of the first business. So then, to be honest with you, I got bored, right? Because it was just like making like a lot of money. And I was just like, dude, I'm like sitting at home just doing nothing. So it's like, you know what? Let me just jump into like a home-based business. Like I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm teaching this stuff. I might as well just jump in. And the ironic thing is that people who are already, because I was already making a lot of money from that business, most people who are in that position wouldn't jump into a home-based business because then if you jump into a home-based business and you don't perform, everybody's going to be like, bro, you're over here selling strategies, but how come you're not ranking up? You're not doing whatever. Right. So anyway, I jumped into this home-based business and I started applying those strategies and took off. Like I started ranking up really quickly and basically hit the top rank in like 120 days. Now, I didn't email any of my list. I didn't run any Facebook ads. I did everything from my personal Facebook profile and I didn't promote it to the people in this other company, right? And just to show people that, look, this, it works, whatever. So then we did that. And then I started helping a whole bunch of people on my team rank up like really, really quickly. And then the word started getting around and blah, 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 blah. And so we were like, all right, well, because we didn't have a system, we were just using the stuff from Attraction Marketing Pro to basically do it. And then finally I was like, you know what? Why don't we already sold $1 million worth of products from this company in like 8 months. Why don't we just systematize everything and then kind of take pieces of what other people are already doing in this niche, but like make it better. And then that's kind of how we came up with the Fearless Entrepreneur, which that's kind of taken off right now too. So yeah, that's kind of how
that's a crazy story. What I want to go back really quickly to something Brandon said, which was he was talking about his take on strategies and mentoring and coaching and stuff that he's had from his mentors and even some of him and I's mentors, and putting his spin on it. And really, it's not also the spin, it's also really the voice.
Yeah.
Like I've told a lot of my clients and people that I've taught in the past, I'm like, you know what? All it takes is the one correct person to come into your life. For me, like back in the day when I was in like high school and middle school and elementary school, it was that one teacher that really made it all make sense to me,
Right.
And that's what I really find great about Brandon is that he has a voice that carries a lot of weight. And I don't mean by experience, although that helps too, but I'm just saying by character, by being hungry, that the cadence in his voice. So, and I've seen his trainings before and I've, kind of grew up with him in this industry. So I've seen a lot of his trainings before, but even some of the stuff I've seen recently inside the new system is just amazing. And I can totally tell why people are really getting results from your stuff. It's just because you come into the lesson and you come into the training and you come onto your live webinars and your Zooms and your lives inside your Facebook group with energy, Yeah. And even that Facebook ad YouTube ad that you showed everybody last night in the group, like that was fire, bro. That was really fire. That was really funny. And on top of that, it was just really highly energetic. It's gonna bang for sure.
Yeah.
So then from what I heard, then the kind of the key difference between the old system and the new system then is basically the new system I mean, I'm pretty sure some of the training's also updated, but would you say the main difference then is your new system is more geared for like a certain opportunity?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So one of the things I learned from Mark Hoverson, if you guys don't know who he is, like that's kind of like our mentor, like the guy who like really taught us, like he taught me everything about creating products and like coaching people and like just how to like do everything that I'm doing right now. And one of the things he taught me was you want to make evergreen products. Like he used to call them crop products, right? Where it's like you, instead of like the flash in the pan, like Instagram thing or this or that kind of thing, it's like you teach principles that are timeless. So like everything in AMP can work from now for the rest of our time because it's based off of time tested principles that you're going to need for business. So basically what I did was I took the principles from AMP, but I made it more specific to help a very specific niche of people and a very specific business opportunity, right? But then also what I did, which was different, was you don't have to be in the business opportunity to plug into Fearless Entrepreneur, and you can still do very well and make a, obviously we can't guarantee any money, we never promise anything, but you can still do very well if you never join the business opportunity. But the reason why I even got into this business opportunity and started doing platforms, because even though I was making really good money over here, I thought about like my future, right? And I said, okay, like, yeah, I could probably run this thing. There's been platforms, trainings like this that have been going on for like 10, 15 years. But over the next 10 years, I wanted a legacy business. I wanted something that will work without me having to like hustle every single month. And that's why I got into this other business, because I was like, that business, if I work it for 10 years, I get lifetime bonuses, I can get all that, but I could still earn those affiliate commissions in the front end. And it just becomes like a win-win situation. So to answer your question, the distinction is this is laser focused on a very specific type of person, which somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur. Attraction marketing pros for network marketers, fearless entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, and it's really to showcase our high ticket product on the back end, which is optional. If people want that, they can get it. Cool. If not, cool. They could still basically, essentially get started with that. And the other cool thing about it too is, so you can come in and learn about entrepreneurship and just be what's called a lead generator, which means that you can generate leads for the people who are in the high ticket business. You never have to join the high ticket business, but you still can make the high ticket commissions from Fearless and the residual income from Fearless. But then you're doing them a favor, because then you're like building leads for them to talk to about the high ticket business. So I thought that was a unique spin on like a system as well too, because I've never seen anything like that done before.
Yeah, it's definitely, and just to be clear for everybody watching this video or this replay, is that Brandon created a system called AMP, Attraction Marketing Pro, and his new system is called Fearless. So when you hear him refer to AMP, that's the old one, and Fearless is the new one, and they're still both alive, or the old one's still alive, the new one is new, obviously, and they're both still banging. But really, the newer one, and I never saw the inside of the AMP platform, Brandon, but I have seen. I'm a member actually of the Fearless Entrepreneur one, and all I got to say is what Fearless is, I mean, it's just, I'm going to show you guys like a little back end stuff in a sec, but the Fearless platform is so well put together. And I told Brendan that when I first like logged in, I'm like, there's like really, I mean, when you see like the graphics to the stuff and just the time that was invested into like programming everything out, laying everything out, being a product creator myself and being able to put stuff in order that just makes sense and makes it easy for people to go through is really freaking difficult. And it takes a lot of time to do it. This is not like, oh, let me just, in one night, like, put some stuff together, like 5 videos. Like when you log into Fearless, there's at least I think there's at least in the entry level stuff, Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there's at least 20 videos. There might even be like 40, right? Just in training.
Yeah. It's a lot, man. I don't even know how exact. I can't even count how many, but yeah, it's We wanted to have a detailed system to where anybody can plug in, go through it, and like it could just teach them everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, because everybody wants lifestyle and time freedom, but you can't get lifestyle and time freedom if you have to like coach people on stuff and show them how to do this and teach them how to do that and answer these questions and that. So we just thought about every single thing that a new person, like let's say like the way we approached this was we said, okay, the person we're thinking about just decided tonight that they want to be an entrepreneur. And what would they have to see, hear, learn? What type of community would they have to be around? Like, what would they have to experience in order for them to convert into an entrepreneur? And so we started from that super high level all the way down to the technical side of things to the business. So yeah, that's kind of, and like even the people in the branding, like they went out to where was it? Not Fiji. One of those islands, I can't remember. But she went out there, did a whole photo shoot. Took this thing like really serious. We're like, look, we're gonna have this for the rest of our life. So if we're gonna do this, like we're not gonna use like stock images and stuff like that. No, like, and that's a part of the platform story too, is like the person who's featured in all the branding, she was a student of mine who literally 24 months ago was working 9 to 5. Like she was like literally sneaking in her break room, talking to me, asking me questions about this and third, to now she's been able to retire. Like she's been able to hit the top rank of her business. Like she's just crushing it online. And so we wanted to put that in the fabric of the actual platform just to give it a little bit more, relevancy and like, you never actually see the person on the brand, like as the, what I mean? Like, I don't know. So what I mean? Like, you're a product creator, so you get like,
it totally, what it does, besides from all the stuff you just said, is it builds culture. Not only from the culture of the people that are already in the community itself and already paid members and members of Fearless, but also too when people are looking from the outside in, right? Because the people on the inside, they're the VIPs, they're the cool people, right? Or they're the people that other people want to be like.
Right.
I was just explaining this on a webinar last night, actually. The people looking from the outside in, they want to come inside and party with everybody else. They want to learn what everybody else is learning. Mm-hmm. And so when you introduce things like having the people that are in the community on the branding and on the sales videos and in the trainings and on the website and stuff like that, it tells the people from the outside, like, wow, like, look what this company is really doing. It's like very similar to, I think it could be Zappos. I could be misplacing this company, but these companies that just treat their employees very well and give them the workspace that they want so that they produce at a high level, right? It's creating community and culture around everything. So that's a super smart idea. And I was actually going to ask you, because, I've been watching from the outside for a little bit about Fearless, and I was going to be like, yo, Brandon, are you like hiring like supermodels now or what? Like are all these good looking women like inside this group and on your sales page? Because I'm like, dude, like something's going on here.
Yeah,
so
that's funny, dude.
And you know what?
I'm gonna play out like that,
And another thing too, for those of you watching this video, whether you're a male or a female, what I really like about Brandon's new platform and the community that he's created is that there's not just one woman. There's at least like 5 or 6 other women that are leadership material, and then a whole bunch of other ones that are on the up and coming, right? Like that doesn't really exist in any other company or any other platform in this industry. And that is super amazing, super amazing. And I told Brandon, I go, man, the fact that you have a lot of women like really being present and taking that leadership role is going to change this industry and bring something to the table that hasn't been brought before. So Absolutely. kudos to you, man. Really, I'm really ecstatic about that.
Yeah.
I was going to say something else, but now I can't remember. Let's go take a look inside the Fearless back office. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to stick on this page. I'm not going to go deep down into anything, but this is what it looks like for all you wondering what the inside of this site looks like. Here's what it looks like. I mean, as you can see, and this is this is why I was like, yo, you got supermodels, B, because this is not your regular run of the mill. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
really quickly, in your opinion, just on, you have different, actually, let's do this. What are the different levels, the different products that you have inside Fearless Entrepreneur, so people that are watching this can kind of get a bird's eye view of like what's going on?
Yeah. So can you click on training?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So basically our core product is the Fearless Entrepreneur, which is the very first one. This is where I typically recommend everybody start, because this is going to give you the basic foundation of entrepreneurship. And coming from a person who, like, I didn't have investors, I didn't have like family with money, I didn't have like all this kind of stuff. Like, it was like, this guy was flat broke. How did he like basically build a business, right? And so essentially that's what this training is. And it comes with pretty much a lot of content. Like, for what we're giving away for $97, I mean, we could easily charge $2,000 for this, like easily, right? Like, people charge, that's what they would charge for something like this, right? And so this Fearless Entrepreneur, that's like our flagship product. And like I said, we go over everything from the Fearless Entrepreneur, which really gives you the foundation of being an entrepreneur, then introduce you to a couple different business models that you can have. And then also too, we have the Organic Marketing Pro, which is my kind of like flagship product where I teach you how to get free leads. Like, this is kind of how I built all my businesses, like leveraging the power of free leads. And then we also have the Fearless Affiliate, which is basically how, if you don't want to get into our flagship product, you can just be an affiliate, right? Like, you can just be an affiliate and you can, you know, pretty much be successful with that. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, we do have our high ticket offer in here, which is super detailed. Like, I don't know any other system that like breaks it down where you like get the vision, like just from the videos, you're like, man, I totally understand why this would be beneficial to get into.
Before you continue, let me just stop you right there, because I want to point out something super important to what this is, high ticket. So first of all, for those of the people that are watching that don't know what that term means, first break down what high ticket is versus low ticket, and then why it's important to have that in a system, let alone your business.
Yeah, so low ticket is basically, so this is how I came to know it. When I first got into this business, I didn't have money for traffic, right? I didn't have money for like Google ads and like Facebook ads and like all this kind of stuff. And so everybody in the industry was like, got to get 5,000 leads per day and 100 million leads per day. And I was like, dude, I don't have the money for that, right? So then I started learning about customer lifetime value. And I started realizing that I could get less leads and still make a lot of money if I had a higher customer lifetime value. So customer lifetime value, basically what that means is it's basically the amount of money that you could make from one single customer, right? So instead of having millions of customers, you can have a small amount of customers, but you can make more money because you have more products that had a higher ticket on them that they could buy. Okay. And so low ticket is anything that's like $50 to maybe like, you know, I would even say now maybe like a couple hundred, $300, $400, $500, $600, right? $700. High ticket, I say starts off at like $1,000, right? And then it can go on up to like $5,000, $10,000. And so basically, with Fearless, you can start out earning low ticket residual commissions. So for every person that you bring into Fearless, you earn $48.50 residual income as long as they, you know, pay their membership and things like that. Now, to offset that, we have the high ticket product, which is basically can pay you anywhere between $2,500 to now I make about $5,000 with the packages that I sell, right? And I make that passively too. So you can make anywhere between $2,500 to $5,000 passively with the high ticket business, as well as you're building a legacy business where after you bring in enough people, then pretty much it kind of starts to run for itself. And then you can also get lifetime bonuses, which means that once I hit a certain amount of sales, this company is going to pay me X amount of dollars. It could be anywhere between $5,000 to $80,000 a month for the rest of my life. And so that's why we have the high ticket option, is because, nobody wants to be online, for the rest of their life, right? You want to like move around, right? So yeah, so that's what the difference is between high ticket and low ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. Powerful. And not only, now this is just as Brandon was saying, this particular module right here.
Yeah.
This is the particular high ticket business that is affiliated with this system. Okay. But on top of that, if you look at this top bar where it says Fearless Entrepreneur, Fearless Closers, and Traction Marketing Coach, these are additional affiliate products, high ticket affiliate products that are directly a product of Fearless Entrepreneur. While this one right here is another business opportunity that is related to what Brandon has here. Right. And once you get inside the system, you'll actually get to know what that's about. But let's continue. Okay, so we could go on forever and ever and ever about all these different things. But in the Fearless Entrepreneur, entry flagship model product, what do you believe, if someone was to come in today into the Fearless Entrepreneur and get started with the flagship product? Obviously it's best to go through everything, from A to Z, because it's been planned out that way. But what would your biggest takeaway be? What would be your biggest takeaway module from all these ones listed right here? Because I already know what mine is, but what would yours be?
So like if I was brand new, and let's say I didn't have a lot of money and I ran across the system, first thing I would do is, I would come into the Fearless Entrepreneur, and then I would go into the Organic Marketing Pro and I would watch that training. Okay. And then inside that training, I would focus on building my network. Right. So I created this concept called the 5K network, because that's what I used when I didn't have money for ads. Right. It was just like building my 5K network. Right. So I would go in, I would watch this entire training, which is then going to set you up for the mindset of how to use free strategies, which actually work and that don't require you to be online all day. Like you could literally do the strategies in here for 30 minutes to an hour a day and have a lot of success. Right. So that's what I would do first. Is I would come in here, I watch this whole training. I would focus on my 5K network. We even show you what are your highest income producing activities that you can do every day. And we have worksheets in there where you go in, you can print out the worksheet. And literally that's what I did. I actually still do to this day, is I just use that as my guide to kind of measure if I'm doing good or if I'm doing bad or whatever. So literally everything you need is in there. That's the first thing. Then the second thing I would do is I would go into the Fearless Affiliate, and I would learn how to be an affiliate, right? I would learn how do I become a really good affiliate of the system? Because basically if you come in here and you sell this to 2 people, your membership is free, right? And then from there, every single person that you bring in, you're making $48.50, right? So even if you brought in, let's say 10 people a month, I don't know, what's 10 times $48.50? That's almost $500 a month.
$485.
Yeah, so that's $485 a month in residual income. Now, if you were able to do that for an entire year, that's a $5,000. If everybody stays, that could be a $5,820 residual income. Now, the cool thing about this is that we have a built-in market already for this, right? Which is what people don't realize. You don't have to really sell this, because there's already hundreds of thousands of people who don't have something like this. And once you get to understand who that market is, literally you just talk to them, you show them the system, and they're like, oh shoot, this is powerful, right? And so that's what I would focus on in the beginning. Right when I came in, is I would just focus on that. Now, if you want to really take your business to the next level, then I would definitely get into the Fearless Closer, because this is going to show you how to close deals, and 2, it's going to pay you $98.50 per person that signs up. Now, the beautiful thing about the system, and this is what I'm finding with my own people that I'm bringing in, people will come in, they'll watch the training, oh man, this is great. And then they will automatically come. So if you click on that, I don't know if you can click on that locked.
Yeah, give me one sec.
so people are gonna naturally come into the system. They're gonna go through this. They're gonna be like, wow, this training is amazing. Like everything makes sense. And then they're gonna click on this locked button. Okay. Now, when they click on this lock button, guess what? You got me selling it for you, right? You got me, and we're actually gonna I actually just kind of shot these videos real quick, but we're gonna actually make really cool videos that are like animated that come in here and that show like customer lifetime value, that show the like everything. And so basically, like it's kind of like a done for you funnel in the back office, right? Because people, these things at the top don't move. So eventually they're gonna be like clicking on that, they're gonna join in. A lot of people are waking up and they're like, man, now I'm making an extra $98.50 every single month, right? So again, if you were just to get 10 upgrades every single month, right? So I'd take $98.50 times 10. That's about what, 980? Let's just say
almost a G. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like almost a G. So if you were able to, so now you've got close to $1,400 residual every single month. You do that times 12, dude. By the end of the year, you could easily be making, 20, 15, 20 grand. Now, obviously, I always got to give FTC disclaimer. I can't guarantee you that you'll make any money. These are hypothetical scenarios, right? But yeah, so now your customer lifetime value starts to rise. And yeah, that's, and again, all you have to do is get two people to essentially, join this, and then now your membership's free.
Yeah. What I really like about this particularly is if someone were to come in here, like you said, and clicked on these things that are locked, and this video pops up, and you said you're going to be redoing these videos, pretty soon. But basically what Brandon's trying to say is like when you bring people into the system, right, just as the entry level, right, the fearless entrepreneur level, okay, and they're digging their training, they're loving all this content. And guys, by the way, I've been through all this stuff already. And when I said there's like 20 videos at least, I think there's probably more like 40. This is actually high value content, high value training. This is not like, hey, like all theoretical kind of stuff. I mean, dude, Brandon just said they got worksheets. How many other programs have you been in that actually have worksheets? Like not everybody uses them, but for the people that really want to keep track of their daily actions and things like that, like this is just an awesome thing. But for the people that come in here and are getting ecstatic about this and they want more, and they go and they're like, well, what's this fearless closer thing about, right? They click here. What Brandon's trying to say is that this is like basically going to be like a VSL, video sales letter, where people will come in, they'll see basically this mini presentation, if you will, and be like, you know what? I already love the content in here. I already love the community. I already love the supermodels on the homepage. Like, let me go to the next level with this, right? And they get inside the Fearless Closer, which is not only training, but also Brandon, is it a weekly kind of like mastermind Zoom call kind of thing? Weekly or?
So yeah, this is a weekly sales training. Yeah.
So guys, I mean, if you guys really want to talk about value here versus other companies and other, product creators in the marketplace, just like this, for $200 a month, think about this. This is what people are missing. They're looking at $197 and they're like, well, that's $200 a month. Like, that's part of my rent or that's my car payment or whatever. But what you don't realize is Brandon just said this is a weekly training, right, Brandon? Weekly.
Yeah, weekly.
If you break that down, your cost of $200 into 4 weeks, that's only 50 measly bucks per week that you're getting on a call for a webinar that's live. Brandon, how long are those webinars? 1 hour or 2 hours?
They'd be like 90 minutes. Yeah, we just keep going until people.
So let's say they're 2 hours, 2 hour long Zoom calls, right? And Brandon too. Not only, I mean, this is not like every week it's the same training, right? You're basically kind of like taking live situations, right?
Yeah. So we do role plays. We talk about the psychology of sales. We talk about just there's little nuances within sales, like your tonality, like your confidence, like all these kind of, how you open up the call, your energy level, are you transferring trust, like all these different things that nobody really teaches. We basically break down this. And then every week you get to see people getting better. You get to see brand new people who were like once shy and now they're on there and they're just like boom, 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 boom. A lot of these people who are crushing on my team, that's how they started out. They're like super shy, you know, some of them are like stay-at-home moms, like they don't, you know, they were like, I don't know much about business, blah, blah. Now they're just like crushing it, like boom, boom, boom. So yeah, so for what you're getting here, like, dude, it's not even like I always tell people, if you can't afford $197 a month, you should be here.
Yeah, totally.
Because that means that you don't have the skills to make 2 sales, which means that you need it, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I always put it to people.
So let's break this down. $200 for 1 month or for each month, right? Mm-hmm. Divide that by weeks of 4 weeks. That's $50 per week to get on a live call with a 6 to 7 figure earner, plus other students that are in the game too, that also will be leading the webinar, that have experience, role playing with a mentor, getting your questions asked. So this is not like, hey, let's just talk about Instagram strategies again. This is like, yo, you got people on a call, on a phone call, Skype call, Facebook, whatever it is. Here's how the call is going to go. And this is how you close the sale. For $50 a week, you got to ask yourself, isn't that worth it to you and your business? I mean, there are high ticket coaching programs that I've been in myself for kind of the same stuff. That was way more than $50 a week. Way more.
Dude, like, so let's just be clear, right? And I don't really throw my numbers out, blah, 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 but sometimes you gotta like let people know like what this is really worth, right? We're talking about $50 a week from a guy. I literally made, like, I was like flat broke, like literally like broke out of my mind, to now, like, just from Attraction Marketing Pro alone, we've done about $4 million, right? Using exactly what I'm teaching right here, right? And so there's really not going to be anybody who, and like, there's not going to be anybody who really is at that skill level who's going to take for like time out of their day for like 2 hours for 50. I mean, it's just like, people just aren't going to do it, right? And so that's why I always want people to understand. Like, I remember when I was coming up, I wish somebody who made millions, like, not paid out millions, like actually made millions, like would actually talk to me and be like, yo, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? And how do you do that? And so that's why we really think that we really think it is undervalued, but we want to make it a price to where it puts people in a situation where like they have to perform. And also too, we don't like devalue like the course like too much.
Yeah. And adding on to that, and I'm just going to put in a little edit right now, or a little disclaimer. If you're watching this video at the time where you're watching it, today is November 6, 2020. The price might have gone up already because you slept on it or you're sleeping on it, right? Like, again, $50 a week to get on a live call and talk about closing. This is not about getting leads. This is about closing leads. If you want to learn about getting leads, okay, there's going to be, more courses about that, but their foundational course is about getting leads organically.
Yes.
So by the time you even think about getting Fearless, you're already like, well, I got leads. How do I, if you're having trouble closing them, get into the Fearless closers.
Yes.
Now, Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a strategy, technique, or something called the one call closer. Is that correct? And if that's correct, can you just give me some insight on like what that is? Is that exclusive to the Fearless closers, or what is that about?
So we have a training in here called Presentations that Pay, which is basically how we close our high ticket products. So like for me, my closing ratio is really high. Like I have about like probably like a 97% closing ratio. I mean that 97% of the people that I get on, they're buying my high ticket product. Now, mind you, I'm pre-qualifying, so I'm not getting on the call with anybody who's like pretty much not ready to buy or not, closable, right? So that's a big thing that I'm not talking about like we just anybody with a pulse, right? No, it's like we basically pre-qualify these people. But yeah, so a lot of these strategies come from another training that I did that we were selling for $2,000. We still are selling for $2,000, called the one call closer, where we show you basically how to collapse the time frames that it takes to get money to change hands. So I actually realized that the process of selling high ticket has nothing to do with what I'm selling. It has nothing to do with how long I've known the person, has nothing to do with anything else besides what that person wants to buy. And I always tell people, you got to think about it like this. If you have a toothache right now and that air hits that nerve, you're not calling up dentists and saying, hey, can I see your credentials? Hey, how many people have you worked on? Hey, how many, you know what I mean? You're like, yo, I'm in pain. Get me out of pain right now.
Yep.
Right? You're not asking a bunch of questions, right? I've had 2 kids. We never asked the doctor to see his credentials. We never asked what school he went to. We didn't ask anything. He was the authority, and he commanded that when I walked into his office. Right. So when people go into your phone, that's your office, right? And so we realized that we could close these high ticket deals with one phone call. But that's because we set the call up properly. We set the expectations up properly. And that's what most of my team is doing is one call. We're not like sending out information, following up, blah, 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 blah. It's like one call, boom, close. And so that's what we kind of teach. Not kind of, that is what we teach inside of this training.
One of the reasons I do interviews with people like Brandon is because not only is it interview with this particular person or about this particular system or product or service, it's also too because I like to also share knowledge and training while doing these interviews. So just like Brandon was saying, like for those of you watching this video that are in the MLM industry, network marketing industry, affiliate industry, most of the reason why you're failing outside of getting leads is because you're talking to the wrong people. They're going to waste your time. Those people, if they really wanted to buy your product, they would be coming running to you with money in hand, right? And so that's what Brandon's talking about. Like you have to set up your business in a way that's going to allow you to be the doctor, like Brandon was talking about, the authority. So when people come to you, they're like, just take my money. Just take my money. And if you add on an irresistible offer to that, then it becomes even easier, becomes even better, right? So
and also too, to save your time, like I had a call today with somebody, and again, I take a lot of stuff that Mark taught, and I actually use that stuff like to this day, right? And like he's the one who taught me, if you don't have leads, that's a symptom of not knowing how to close. You don't have a lead generation problem, you have a closing problem. Like he said this to me a long time ago. But he also taught me that, again, when we go back to that authoritative posturing, like, so I got on the call with this girl today, and typically I don't really get on the calls with people, but I was kind of doing somebody a favor, blah, 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 whatever. And we get on the call and she starts going into like, okay, let me get my notepad ready and like, da-da-da-da, like all this stuff. And my first question, which I got from Mark Overson, was, if I show you every single thing that you need to know about this system, are you ready to buy today? And she got offended by it. Actually, she was like, oh, like, what? I mean, I don't like how that feels. Like, she's like, I don't like how that feels. I feel like I don't like, it feels like you're trying to sell me something. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to sell you anything because I don't know your problem, but I want to know if I can solve your problem. Are you ready to buy today? And she's like, yeah, I don't like the way that feels. I said, okay, well, would you like to continue the call? And she's like, no. And I was like, all right, excellent. Well, listen, thank you for your time today. I really wish you much success with everything you're doing. And, you know, blessings. And we got off the call, right? So it's being able to detect like a time waster. That's a closing skill. The average person would have just got on the call with her, answered all these questions, and then at the end, she'd be like, you know what, let me think about it. Oh, I got to talk to this. Oh, I got to do this, right? And so it's little distinctions like that you can learn in this training that help you get better at closing.
And that's exactly why, too, like the old MLM thinking, the old MLM model of like inviting people to your house, doing these home meetings, when they're not even really qualified to even get to that part. They're just like, okay, you give your whole spiel. You're like, okay, so here's the product, here's the comp plan, this, that, and the other. Do you have any questions? And they're like, when can I get out of here? You know? You know, because you didn't pre-qualify someone to show up to an appointment or to a presentation of someone that really wants to see it, you know?
Exactly.
Okay. And I've taught this in you know, in the past, like you got to have conversations that lead to appointments, and those appointments that lead to signups and sales. It's those three stages, and you kind of fill in the gaps in between. But I'm glad we're talking about this. This is super funny. But Brandon, like, this is what you have here is just what I really love about it. Again, is that it's all in order.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, hey, you know, go jump here, then jump here, you know, this, that, and other. Like you said, this is kind of like laid out for an entrepreneur that really wants to learn entrepreneur skills. Like, here's the steps to take to do this X, Y, Z, blah, 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 right? And it's not like Fearless Closers positioned in the front. It's positioned as the second next thing to buy, because that's the next thing that's important to buy if you have a problem at closing. So that being said, we're running out of a little time here, but let's jump into the Traction Marketing Coach. What is this about exactly?
So I've been able to basically build a business selling training and coaching to the home-based business industry. And basically what I did was I took all of the skill sets that I acquired from selling high ticket programs, and I basically put them into a training to show other people how to create high ticket programs for the home-based business niche. So some people might say, well, you know what? I'm not ready to be a coach yet. Well, then you're not ready to make money yet, because people buy from coaches. Yeah. Like, when's the last time you went looking for a distributor, right? Like we naturally go and look for the authority from the coach, right? The person who is positioned in a way that we feel can basically help us. And so it's really getting out of this distributor mentality, this like salesman mentality, and getting into this problem solver mentality. So one, we teach you how to set up your own coaching business with you know, this formula that I've created. And I've had students go through here. And again, FTC disclaimer, I can't promise you any money, things like that. I'm just telling you what I've actually seen. Is I've had people come through here and they've made 6 figures in one webinar. You know, I've had other people come through and make, you know, $20,000 in one webinar, right? So we like literally go through all the processes of how to think about this, of how to think about being a coach, which is what we all are anyway, and two, how to think about high ticket. So in one of the modules in here, I basically tell people, I'm like, all right, so you get the choice. When you first start on your entrepreneurial journey, you get 2 choices. You get to be the Louis Vuitton of the industry, or you get to be the Walmart, right? Now, that's not an ethical thing, because I shop at Walmart and I shop at Louis Vuitton. Like and I give a story in there, like when I went to Hawaii, my wife got a $5,000 purse at Louis Vuitton and got a $12 purse to go to the beach at Walmart. No harm, no foul. But you get to choose how you want to position and the mindset that you want to take. Now, here's another thing. So when we go into Louis Vuitton, they don't have to convince us to buy a $5,000 purse, right? We come in there knowing that this is a high ticket situation. And if we're here, we're basically going to buy it, right? And so essentially we kind of go over the psychology of like high ticket sales, and like, because most people, when you're not around affluent people, you see the world from one perspective, when there's a whole nother world from this perspective. Like, you never see Lamborghinis on sale. You never see Lamborghini going out of business. Like, they didn't go on sale during COVID-19, right? Like, they kept their same price, and they probably actually made even more money, right? Because of how they're positioning. You expect to go to Lamborghini and you expect to pay this price. There's no really negotiating with this, right? And so it's like more than just about being a coach. It's more about understanding, like, and then I show examples in there. Like, there's sushi restaurants where it costs $2,000 a plate.
Wow.
And then there's the one down the street from my house, $15, right? What is in this sushi that would allow them to have lines Because I get the name of the place. There's like lines, people waiting to pay $2,000 to get here and pay sushi. So when you start to understand that psychology, you're like, man, yeah, like I can sell $5,000, $10,000 courses because there's a market for that. And so, yeah, so that's what we teach you in here is like, how do you, one, create that program? And then two, how do you position yourself as a coach and really understand the inner workings of a high ticket business model?
I want to point out something very important that Brandon just talked about and indirectly talked about too. He said positioning. That's what I was thinking about the whole time he's talking about traction marketing coach is positioning. And you have to learn how to position yourself as an authority, as an influencer, so that when people come to you, just like Brandon's been talking about, they're like, I know what I'm about to pay for, or know what I'm getting into. Because this person is a leader. This person speaks the truth. This person commands a top dollar or whatever the amount is that you're particularly charging. Really quick, this is related to what we're talking about. You know, our good buddy Matt Lloyd, right? Who's resurfaced recently. And Brandon and I went to a conference with Matt Lloyd, and Matt Lloyd was one of the biggest takeaways I had from that conference was positioning and becoming an authority. And our buddy Matt Lloyd was in this industry and then left, and now he's back, not directly in this industry, but related. But I reached out to him, Brandon, on Facebook Messenger just yesterday. And I'm like, dude, I'm so glad you're back, because I just want to let you know that one conference totally changed my mindset and my perspective on this industry, specifically about positioning. And that is a big takeaway for those of you watching this video or this replay, is not only positioning and stuff like that, but when you're in this industry, when you're in a program, or when you're or with a company like Brandon's and you're in Fearless Entrepreneur, it could just be this one little thing you hear, this one webinar you're on, this one thing that just totally changes your mindset and your thinking. And you're like, I got it. I got it. When Brandon and I went to this particular conference by your good buddy Matt, I walked away and I was like, dude, why didn't I see things like this before? Why didn't I understand it like that? Like, no one ever said it that way, or no, I don't think anybody ever said it at all. It was just about positioning. Maybe someone else said it in some other completely kind of internet marketing way. But when this person particular who was on stage, which was Vince Reed, by the way, he was the one that was like, yo, you got to learn how to position your offers so that it just makes sense for people to buy. You got to position yourself as an offer so that when people come to you for things like coaching or to buy an affiliate product for you or a product or service, that it just makes sense. If you learn positioning, that's going to change the whole game for you.
Like, positioning is 90% of the success. Like, it took me so many years to understand that it wasn't about all this other stuff. It literally was positioning. So it was about how I perceived myself, how the industry perceived me, and then how I perceived other people's problems. And another kind of thing that we teach in here is this idea that, one, we want to be a big fish in a small pond. That's a positioning strategy, right? It's where you don't have to be all over Instagram and all over YouTube and all over all this. You can have your 5,000. That's 5,000. Can you imagine being talking in front of 5,000? Like, that's a lot of people, right? And so if you become a big fish in front of that small pond of 5,000, right, they're going to get to know you, like you, and trust you. Things are going to be easier to sell. The other thing about positioning too is it has nothing to do with credentials, right? So positioning doesn't mean like I got a college degree in attraction marketing. I got a college degree in marketing. I got a college degree in sales. No, positioning is something that you establish. It's something that you are basically associated with. Like, most of the time, if you see like a police officer, right? His positioning as a police officer, you don't ask him to see his badge or his police number. It's the way he's dressed. It's the way he's operating. It's the car he's in. That shows you that he's an authority. And when I started realizing, I was like, yo, this game is like, okay, I get it, right? And so that's stuff that if you're brand new, like, you wouldn't even think about, but it's right in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was gonna go into this whole other kind of mini training right now, but you know what? I'm gonna hold that back for another time because we're almost out of time right now. But it's related to that, and it's something that I had a realization about. I mean, basically, what it has to do with is why do you think people that you know? This is why friends, family, and all that stuff doesn't really work initially when you're first starting out in the industry because you're not positioned correctly. But why don't you think those people who should trust you don't really trust you, right? It's because they've already put this label on you and you're labeled as that person. So they don't think you can do business or they don't think you could be successful in an MLM or network marketing company. However, going kind of like a little adding on here to what Brandon's 5K network talks about building a 5K network of people online. If all those people are strangers, guess what? They get to see you as right now. So who are you right now? Not who were you 5 years ago, not who were you when you were a little kid. Who are you right now? Mm-hmm. And when you can do what Brandon's talking about positioning yourself as a leader and as an influencer and as someone that knows what they're talking about, or at least someone that knows even just a little more than that other person, they'll grasp onto you and be like, yo, Christian, Brandon, Jen, or whoever you, what your name is, if you're the person that led them to the water and they like what they're drinking, they're going to come and drink more. And in this instance, they're going to come into water. They're going to come into Fearless Entrepreneur. They're going to see what's here. They're going to love it. They're going to start upgrading and possibly get into the other ventures that are associated with this program. So, Brandon, bro, thank you for your time, my man. Like, I'm glad we did this. Your system is freaking awesome. I'm excited to see more. I know you're coming out with more. Why don't you really quick plug what you're talking about on the live right before our interview about your YouTube ads training? Why don't you just give a little?
Yeah, actually, right after here, I'm gonna go live in the group again, just because I accidentally hit the delete button. But right now, every so often in the history of marketing, there comes these opportunities. And you know me, I've been doing YouTube ads for like ever, like with the music artists, like all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't as advanced as it is now. Like right now, it's like the time, like I started YouTube ads probably like 5 years ago, like helping music artists put their stuff up, you know, all that kind of stuff. And that's how I built that business. But now is a time where like it's wide open for home-based business. Traffic is cheap. It's simple. You don't have to write ad copy and do all this crazy stuff. You don't even got to be on the video. You can actually get the video made. Like there's softwares that like help you find like the people who are looking for you. And it's bringing back what the old school was, which was search traffic, right? Me and Christian came up on search traffic, not this like Facebook stuff where interruption marketing where you got to like try to get people's attention and blah, blah. No. This is like keyword search traffic. We know these people are interested. We know that they want this. And now you can put a video in front of them, like a pre-roll video in front of them. And most of the people who have basically been successful with these types of ads, they only had one video. So it wasn't like they had like a million pieces of content out there that was making them the traffic. Like a lot of these guys, they have one or two videos and they let it run the whole year. Like Ty Lopez, everybody knows that one video that he had, right? So I took that kind of mindset. And that's why the video ad that I posted in the group, it's funny. It's like, because it's kind of like that Ty Lopez video where it's just like, who is this guy in the garage with his car, blah, blah. And people are going to be like, yo, who's this guy like going crazy, ripping up his friends and family list, like just walling out on this YouTube thing. And when people see that enough times, they're going to click on my stuff and be like, oh, and then when they find out that I really legit have some value, they're basically going to buy. So that's one of the things that I'm focused on in 2021 is YouTube ads, as well as just getting them in the system. So some of the upgrades that we're doing on this system right now, which, you know, that's why some stuff looks a little bit out of whack and stuff like that, because they're coding like crazy. So a couple of things we're going to be adding here is for our high ticket offer, we're going to be adding a way to automate the paperwork, where like your customer can come in, from their profile, it'll pull everything into the form, and then you can just basically click a button and send it to the office. Okay, so we're coming out with that. Another thing we're going to be doing is, you know how in ClickFunnels, where like on the side, like something will pop out and be like, hey, come check out this webinar, blah, 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 blah. We're going to have that on here also too, where now if they come in as a fearless entrepreneur in the back office, there will be a little thing that'll click out. And then essentially what will happen is they will basically be able to register for a webinar, and we'll be able to know which product they purchased and which product they didn't purchase. So if they already purchased Fearless, we'll have a webinar for the YouTube training. And if they haven't purchased, yeah, so it'll literally be like when they log in, they'll basically get those trainings or those sales videos and things like that. And then also too, we have these banners at the top, which basically those will be leading to webinars and trainings too. So we're gonna put them back here also. But if you go like in the other main part of the site, we basically have that as well too. These flashing banners, which these will then rotate. Well, they actually rotate now, but they'll be clickable, and then they will take people to like book a call with you, learn more about your high ticket business, learn more about YouTube ads, learn more about this. So it's like this whole self-containing thing within the system that will allow you to get upgrades and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, really, really sharp and really innovative. And that's really what's important here is like I've been in other systems where it's just like there might be some upgrades, but there's no real next innovation. I mean, we're living in not only in a world, but also in an industry where there's new stuff every day, new tech, new innovations, like new social media things, communities popping up, a new way to do, paid ads, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter or Instagram, like all this new stuff's coming up. So where a lot of systems fail is they fail to keep updating and keep innovating. And what I like about like Brandon, I mean, like I said, this is not Brandon's first system. This is his second. And as you can see, it's pretty top notch, really, really, really top notch. Really quickly, little history. Brandon and I, when we first met up, we actually eventually kind of like started doing like webinars together inside or with the music industry, right? Brandon, please tell everybody who like your first big client was and that person, like who they had as a client.
Yeah, so my first big client was actually Taylor Swift's manager. And he actually found me on YouTube doing the same stuff I'm teaching now. And actually he was stalking me. Like he started hitting me up on Twitter. Like he was just trying to basically chase me down. But anyway, so because I didn't know who he was. So yeah, he found me on YouTube, and then we eventually talked on Twitter. Then he bought like some little audio training that I had. And then basically I sold him like a $10,000 social media like coaching program. And the crazy thing about it is so at the time he wasn't Taylor Swift's manager because he was actually the social media director for Taylor Swift's record label at the time. So he actually got off road. They saw because he literally worked with Taylor Swift. Like they were all the MySpace stuff, social media stuff. Like he was the person who created all that. And so when he saw what I was doing, he was like, yo, man, like you're basically teaching what I'm trying to get these people to understand. He's like, can you coach me, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, like I coached him, and he ended up creating his own like social media agency as well too, which made like millions of dollars. And he actually wanted to bring me into the label and like have me like actually work with the actual record label. But at that time I was in Canada and I had like a lot of stuff going on, and I was just like, nah, I don't really want to do all that right now. But basically I taught him everything, and then he went out and he was like, I started seeing him all over the internet, like teaching all the stuff I taught him. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah, like that's kind of, one of the clients that I've had that's been pretty.
So yeah, guys and gals, whoever's watching this video, like I just wanted to bring that up because like this is not a lot of people that have systems out now. I'm not gonna say a lot of people. There's a fair share of people that have systems out now or coaching programs or some kind of products and stuff. And like a lot of it is just theory. It's not like, I mean, basically what a lot of people do right now is like they just take something they learned and then they go make a product about it.
Yeah.
And then the product sucks because A, they don't know how to market, and then B, like what they're really teaching doesn't really work, or there's no real big proof behind it. So no one really is like, oh, this actually does work. Let me take action, right? Like when I tell people like, yo, I've been in the game for like 20, well, let's see, internet marketing wise, like probably like 12 years. MLM, like since I was like even like, you know, way younger, and Brandon too. Like we've been in the game for like a long time. Like we've been in the trenches for a long time and in different industries. It's not just like MLM or affiliate marketing. It's like music industry. For me, I also started a big website that got really popular really fast. Brandon actually sent me a client. His name is Brandon too, right?
Yeah, he's like a good friend of mine.
Yeah, he sent me a friend of his as a client to basically be the social media manager for his film, right? I was in charge of that. But Brandon would have never sent me this guy like I didn't have any kind of clout or any kind of knowledge, right? So what I'm saying is like I wanted to bring someone to the table for an interview and to showcase this thing because this is someone I really believe in, that I've been in the trenches with for mega years now. And I'm really pumped about what he's doing and what the system is. And I wanted to share all this with you guys. So that being said, Brandon, do you have any closing words or anything else you want to say?
No, man, thanks for having me. Get back with Christian for sure if you're looking to get into the system. He's a great mentor. He can definitely help you guys out. And we're going to keep innovating this thing. And once you guys really get what we have here, because we have so many different avatars and markets that we can go with this, especially in these times when like people are like, okay, work from home, like that makes sense now, right? Like this is like something that you can like get behind and believe in, and it's not just some thrown together like PLRs or some stuff that we copy from this person over here and da 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 da. Like literally people are copying what we're doing. Like it's so funny. Like people are copying what we're doing, and you know, the content, we're content before money, meaning like we actually care about the content. We care about the aesthetics. We care about the value that's being brought to the table. And when you go into here, it's probably going to be stuff that you've never learned before, or if you've heard something similar, you've never heard the way that like we teach it. And so just know that it will be the best, what is it, $97 a month you've ever spent on your life. And yeah, I look forward to just connecting with everybody and just going to the next level.
Awesome, Brandon. Thank you so much. The person that's watching this, if you are all interested in checking this out, there will be either a link on this video itself or on this page or below this video somewhere or on this page somewhere where you can click to get more information. Click that right now. Brandon, thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy. I know you got to get to another live right now. So thank you so much. And